Hi, and welcome to Chicago Reacts. My name is Lauren, and today I am going to be doing something a little different. People have suggested I watch these Bricky videos. This one is a long one. This is Alan Wake 1, the best 6 out of 10 game I've ever played. But it is an hour-long video on his end, so I am going to be cutting it in half on mine, mostly because I don't have that much time. I have to go to work, but I do want to get something ready for soon. You know, I've got to have something for in a day or so. So this is why I'm cutting it in half. I know that some people are down to watch something that's an hour long, which, you know, if that's you, go ahead and let me know. In this particular case, I'm cutting this video in half. And we'll see if we want to change things about that going forward. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've enjoyed the Bricky stuff I've seen so far. This one was specifically requested, the Alan Wake game. So let's begin.
Easily the best thing when it comes to dealing with long-form tasks is today's video sponsor, Audible. Audible is the fantastic service that allows you to listen to a plethora of audiobooks narrated by some of the best narration talent in the current business. I listen to Audible all the time. I love these audiobooks, not just because they're able to have me listen to them while I'm driving, walking, going to the gym, whatever, but also because the amount of effort and breadth of character provided in each narrator is really something special. I'm listening right now to Necropolis, the third installment in the Gaunt's Go series, currently narrated by Toby Longworth, who is just incredible. My assistant also recommended me the title Red Rising, which she says is an absolutely fantastic installment. That is the next major.
My computer's been so weird today, so I'm sorry about that. Things are so slow.
Golden Sun. And you should absolutely check out Audible by going to audible.com/Bricky or texting the word Bricky to 500-5.
So it's a similar vibe on mine today.
I highly recommend you give it a shot. Link in the description, audible.com/Bricky or Bricky to 500-5.
I highly doubt that's still active.
Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. It's a new year. 2023 has gone and 2024 is here.
And now it's 2025.
No different in any way, shape, or form. Well, I didn't think 2023 was like a particular stellar year one way or the other. One person who absolutely believes it was a great year should be a Mr. Sam Lake. Sam Lake wrote Alan Wake, and together they baked, raking in a huge amount of press with the second game's installment and getting quite a few awards in the process. My memories of the original Alan Wake were like fleeting dreams, which is quite topical if I'm being honest. I thought I played the game, but I'm not really remembering doing so. So what better way to start the new year than by playing the original game from 20?
Yeah, let's go all the way back home.
This video will contain all sorts of spoilers. This might not necessarily be a longer video, but we have a lot to cover. So let's just get into it. I initially purchased Alan Wake on Steam and was preparing to play it, but then soon realized I saw a streamer play Alan Wake Remastered. And I was rather confused that I didn't see that title on Steam, but it was on the Epic Games Store, which I assumed was part of that deal they made with Epic, and Alan Wake 2 is on the EGS as well. So I assumed it was something like that. So I instead played the remake, and this is about how well it went. All right.
Oh, dang. Oh, no.
What is up with this? You have that much. All right.
Oh, wow.
God damn it.
Flashing
Mr.
lights,
Maine.
dang.
It's Pat Maine. Oh, never mind. I guess they don't want me to look at Mr. Pat Maine.
Oh, no. The fact that he's played it as long as he seems to have played it, even with that, like 3 minutes. 3 minutes of that is about all I could take.
The biggest boss ever, artifacting. Turns out this remaster on PC is an abomination. The fact
seems like it's
that
bad.
it's on sale on the EGS is kind of a crime. I played through this whole game and I still
that's rude.
feel like I should deserve some kind of refund for how consistently shit this game ran. There were
played
no
the
real
whole
settings
thing
specific to PC. None of the fixes I tried helped me with this problem. It did this the entire game.
Why'd you keep playing?
The console version of the remaster works significantly better.
I mean, there's something to be said for tenacity, but also like there's something to be said for not giving yourself a migraine. You know? That's crazy. would not have kept going.
But I would simply ask you to confirm that for yourself before you go out and purchase this. Do not buy the remaster on PC. Buy the original. It works completely fine.
Okay.
It holds up.
Good
and
to know.
honestly, this is just like genuinely criminal. This is one of the worst PC ports I have
so
played in
bad.
a long while. Now, this will not affect my rating on the game, but it's important to bring up if you're going to be someone like me who just kind of purchased the game like a normal consumer would, thinking it would be totally fine. So don't do that. However, it will not affect my overall thoughts on the title. So for our opening, it starts off with an immediate mention of Stephen King.
Okay.
Stephen King once wrote that nightmares exist outside of logic.
Oh, Sam Lake, you fucking hack. And ends in vehicular manslaughter. The game is narrated by Alan Wake himself, who is also our main character.
He's a writer, so of course he's going to reference Stephen King constantly. Are we in Maine? Because that would just be an extra layer on it.
Opening segment is an attempt to get to the lighthouse in the distance and teaches you the general combat of the game. It teaches you how to sprint, how to jump, how to dodge, and also how to take a complete slew of insults thrown your way.
You're a joke. You're a lousy rider. Cheap thrills.
The YouTube comments. In person form.
You also meet God.
Oh.
You should go into the light. You are only safe there.
God teaches you the importance of light and how light will be the major combat factor for the game. So in order to help you, God gives you a flashlight and his own personal piece from heaven to assist.
God.
God is real. He gave me a flashlight.
God is real and he's packing. He'll authorize you to use his firearm though.
And a revolver. Thanks, God. It's going to be really good that we can get the combat part out of the way in this beginning of the video. So combat in Alan Wake, it isn't good. I honestly would call it teetering on bad, but for the most
That's a
part,
bummer.
just the definition of mid. But Alan Wake's combat concepts are actually pretty neat. So these enemies, the Taken, no, not those, need to be burned away with light in order to become vulnerable to God's glove compartment revolver. So combat goes generally like this.
God's gun
Shine
sucks.
flashlight at enemy, focus it to enhance its power at the cost of battery life, wait until the circle is closed, and then when it is, start blasting. Now, what's the downside to the system? The downside is that it's the only thing you're going to be doing for the entire goddamn game. It almost never improves upon itself in an interesting way. And it becomes extremely repetitive. And
see, that kind of thing could be fun if it's like there's a certain facet of the enemies that's what you use, and then there are other types of things to do for other enemies. I always like upgrading my weaponry and getting something new. It's for this one we have to be sneaky, so we use a crossbow or a bow and arrow or something because we have to be quiet, or a shiv, something like that. Where it's when it's always the same point forever and move it around. I would be bad at that.
And annoying because this game came out in 2010 and controls like shit. Now, what about the concept is so neat though? Well, the idea that an enemy has to be stripped of a protective barrier, basically utilizing one resource and then killed utilizing another, is a really fun dynamic to use, especially when the first resource is something that isn't often utilized as a weapon in games.
Which is kind of cool. I like it sort of flashlight tag rules. As long as they're in the light, you can use that. I kind of like that. That's kind of interesting. But again, I think it would be better, not knowing anything else about this game yet, I think it would be better if, there was different types. You don't always have to do the light thing. It sounds like he's saying you always have to do the light thing. But there's a flare gun. Flare guns are cool.
Being light, not just the power of light on humanity. I mean actual So light as an object is both a source of safety and an actual usable tool in the game. Now this is expanded upon later, but for the most part, despite the game controlling like shit, being very repetitive in its combat, and not really having a ton of variety, the concept is cool. Now, who isn't cool? Alan Wake. And he is just woke up from this terrible nightmare in the car with his wife, heading to the Pacific Northwest on a vacation. As I've said, you are Alan Wake, an esteemed author of various crime and thriller drama books. And
see, I did say, is it Maine? But only because of the Stephen King reference. I did look at the initial scenery and think it gave Outlast vibes. So Pacific Northwest,
And basically a Stephen King insert without the cocaine. This is your vacation away from the world, away from fans, just trying to spend some time with your wife after years of writer's block toiling at your brain. You meet a few
That's why you need the
individuals on the
cocaine.
boat over. Pat Maine, the radio broadcaster of this little town, who's a complete gem, and this other really weird guy in the back of the boat who's just all grumbling at you. But the thing we will come to learn a lot about Alan Wake is that he's kinda a dick and also has some hilariously flat line delivery for 90% of the runtime.
Alan Wake. Oh, God. I am your biggest fan. I know people say that all the time, but I really am.
I'm glad to hear that.
Rose.
Rose, I'm looking
Her
for
name is on her name tag.
Stucky. Carl Stucky?
Carl? Oh, of course, Mr. Wake. He must have gone to visit the restroom. He'll be back in a moment.
There are these little sections like this in the game. You go around and chat to individuals in the area. Here you get to talk to these two hilarious old men who have you play the Lime and a Coconut song. It's just some fun world building in this small northwestern town. Anyway, you go looking for
Mr.
Mr.
The characters
Stucky
are kind of
to
fun.
give you the key to your place,
Except for
and
Alan.
are instead given the key by a creepy ass old lady, which Alan is just okay with, I guess, because she says that he couldn't make it, despite the diner lady literally being like, yeah, he's back there. Alan isn't particularly bright in the opening of this game.
I'll come by later to check how you've settled in. And to meet your wife.
Creeper.
I insist.
Why are you so weird?
Thanks.
So you make your way to what ends up being quite a damn pad out on this island in the lake. And you know, it looks really cool. It's a great vacation spot.
It's kind of giving
Alan's
Edith
wife,
Finch a little
Alice. Alice is a pretty supportive lady. She seems nice. She wants the best for him. She just also happens to have a crippling fear of the dark. One that is so bad to the point where she just completely freezes in place and just, you know, can't really act whatsoever.
Aw.
I actually know
Sorry,
people
honey.
like this. It's surprisingly common to have the inability to have either fight or flight, but rather just kind of freezing in place with crippling fear.
Fight, flight,
Don't
fawn,
worry.
and freeze.
The night is going to get plenty eventful.
Alan, I'm upstairs. I have a surprise for you.
Oh,
Is it
do
sex?
you?
The jeans are off. It's sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the surprise.
Damn it!
Ah.
His wife buys him a typewriter. And you know he's had bad writer's block for about 2 years. And maybe this would be a good way to
I like that her vacation attire is just an underwear and cami. She's like, but I'm not the surprise. I got you a typewriter. I don't want to actually have sex with you right now, even though I'm mostly naked.
get him interested again in this new location. Now, you might say, that's a bit insensitive to do that, Alice. You know, Alan just wants to be on vacation and clear his head, not work. But you see, Alan is a bit of a dick, so he doesn't really take it well.
Hey, just hear me out. There's a local doctor, Dr. Hartman. I read a book of his. He has a private clinic here. He specializes in helping artists.
Well,
So now
yeah, well, I mean, like, that is a little bit, the fact you can't spring a psychiatrist on your husband. I mean, he's acting way mean about it, but like, she did just be like, hey, we didn't come out here just for a vacation. We came out here because I wanted to find this doctor guy. That's a little bit, I don't know about that, Alice.
Now you want to get me committed?
No, it's not like that. That's not... Alan? Alan?
Girl,
Just don't. I don't want to hear it. God
did
damn
she
it,
think he
Alex.
disappeared? Why did she think he
I
did?
knew she wouldn't follow me in the dark. I needed some time alone to think things through.
for his transgressions and shoulder checking his wife
Yeah,
on the way
right?
out of the cabin, his wife privileges are revoked.
Good.
And she's immediately yeeted into the water. But luckily, his reaction is justified.
Oh no!
Oh
Before
no!
our game properly starts, Alice has gone bye-bye, and he is trying to rescue her. While it might seem like she just straight up drowned, it's all weird with the strange older lady and Alan waking up immediately afterwards in a wrecked car. So we are now here into the meat of the game, where
Okay, so she was dead the whole time then. Right? Like, she was never there. There was never an Alice. She was always dead. Maybe there was cocaine. Don't do drugs, kids. But no, okay, so, all right. Interesting. Interesting. But also, yeah, like, one, don't sneak doctors to your loved ones. Don't like pretend that you're going on vacation, but then you're actually there to like trick them into going to a clinic. That's also sketchy behavior. But then, like, dude, don't like punch her to get out of the way. But also, it's like, where did she think he went when the lights went out? Like, it's like, wait, girl, he was right in front of you a second ago. He's definitely still right in front of you. Anyway.
Unfortunately, a lot of it is gameplay. I saw this meme a bit ago, and I like only got part of it because I was a Destiny enjoyer, sure, but I get a lot more now. Alan does what we mentioned before, lights up the enemy and then fires at them until they disappear. Your main weapon is, as we know, God's revolver, and the enemies you fight in this segment are pretty clear cut. They take 3 shots each after they have been burned away by the light.
That's a lot of
also
shots.
Have this really fun voice modulation too that I think is very unique to this kind of enemy. Our boy Stucky is the main boss of this area, and the way he delivers his lines definitely beats Alan's line delivery.
To arrive, you lose. Shit.
So,
ooh, I like that. That's
burn,
fun.
Bang, bang, bang. Flash, burn, bang, bang, bang. This is what you'll be doing for a long time now. But they do give you some guns.
He was like going full on Nick Cage, huh? They told all of the zombies or whoever to like just give your best Nick Cage impression. That's what we want. Go as crazy as you want. Chew as much of the scenery as you want.
Up a little bit. The flare gun is the first new weapon you receive, and let me tell you, this thing fucks.
Yeah, I love a
Alan
flare
Wake
gun.
can be put into 2 camps: light and damage. But sometimes the game breaks its own rules and enemies take damage from light by itself. Later on, when we reach metal pipe sound effect.exe part of the game, those poltergeist objects die when you reach full light on them and don't require bullets. The flare gun, however, is basically a mini version of the rocket launcher from Resident Evil 4. It's a lovely fuck-off powerful one-shot weapon that kills anything you fire it at. So it's neither light type nor damage type. It's just death. Alan Wake as a game doesn't carry over all of your ammo and gear from encounter to encounter. So while I would normally hoard flare gun shots all game long if I could, there's no point. So go to town.
That sucks.
When you find,
but I mean, on one hand, it sucks because it's like you don't get to keep your stuff. But on the other, it's like, ugh, I would hate that. Resource management? Who? Don't know her.
Stucky and you. Unfortunately, he is one of the game's more annoying enemies, the wave-dashing melee player. He bounces around all the time in periods of invulnerability, and it's not hard, nor is it fun. He absolutely sucks, and it would maybe be fun if there was some challenge, but he's a pushover who you can't kill as fast as you wish you could. So yeah. This enemy design blows. The wave-dashing enemy is awful. Alan Wake gets to a gas station and is found by the cops to be then taken into the station and treated for his major head injury and to try to get a grasp on what's been happening.
Okay, but why did they take him to the station to treat his head injuries? Surely they should go to a clinic, like a patient first or something, like someplace with real, because I know like PlayStations I'm sure have emergency medical procedure stuff, but like you can go to a hospital, sir. They can still question you there.
Importantly, the cop says that Cauldron Lake, the island you stayed at, actually sunk in the 70s after a volcanic eruption. Ooh.
Okay.
That is the end of episode 1. Yeah. Episode 1. Alan Wake does this funny TV show style thing where it is split into episodes and has title at the end of each of them. And it plays a full-length song at the end of each of them, which is even more hilarious because when you go to the next episode of Alan Wake, it plays a previously on Alan Wake, as in literally the thing you just played. It's so goofy and stupid, but in an endearing way.
But like, what if, maybe you'd like put it aside for a few weeks, and then you need to remember what happened. Like me, anytime I watch a TV show.
Make you hack. So, episode 2.
3 years ago.
Starts with a quick little flashback to New York 3 years earlier. Alan Wake is in his apartment.
That's a nice fucking apartment.
Too, considering it's New York City. I mean, you're a rich-ass, successful writer, after all. The only thing this part really sets up is the funny little device Alan has. His mom gave him a small, little, decrepit light clicker that helped him shoo monsters away when he was young. But now Alan's, clicker,
Like the
it seems to be a bit
delumidifier?
louder. You're in the police station now being looked at. It's clearly a confusing situation, and it gets even more confusing when someone calls you on your phone and says they have kidnapped your wife and are holding her ransom for the next book you are working on. But despite
Oh,
us
how
going into
misery
the
of them.
kidnapping
Oh, that's obvious. They're making Stephen King references, right? That's very misery-y.
plot pretty soon, none of this matters because we get to meet motherfucking Barry.
Easy.
Hey, nobody move. Get your hands off of my client.
Who are you?
I'm Barry Wheeler.
Hey,
His
Barry
agent.
Wheeler.
If you have business with Mr. Wake, you talk to me.
How did you know to get here?
Yokels won't know what hit you once I sick my lawyers on your asses.
Barry, my beloved, makes this game 10 times better. He is clearly the comic relief character, and he works like a charm.
Okay,
He's funny,
cool.
voice acted fantastically, and most importantly, just kind of reasonable the whole game.
Nice.
He thinks straight, talks straight, and is just a big puffy Joe Pesci. And
I kind of love that. A lot of the time, like, the comic relief characters or whatever they're too much, or like they're just obnoxious or a little cringe. It's nice to know that there is at least one out there who doesn't suck.
I love everything about him.
Just be careful with the natives, Al. These yokels are dangerous. Everybody hates a tourist, or it'll be Deliverance all over again. Archie!
You good?
Bless you.
This place is trying to kill me. I'll bet there's mold in here, spores, poison ivy, God knows what. This is so not worth a 15% commission.
No one
Turns
asked
out
you to come
Weirdo
here.
is actually the guy that was all grumbling on the boat way back when. Kind of a rough and tough military type. But he also
yeah,
sends
look at
us
him.
through what might be the worst combat section in the entire. It's not the worst.
Oh,
There's a
dang.
worse part. But one of the
but he-
worst combat sections in the entire game. We lose our gun, so we need to
Of
place
course we
spotter
do.
for him to shoot them. We light it up. He shoots them. Unfortunately,
Okay.
the guy is either missing his eyes, his brain, or a mixture of the two because he can't hit
man.
shit.
Oh, that sucks.
This is the most
He's terrible.
Bronze 3.
Why are you letting me shoot this gun, sir?
This man's aim is the worst shit I've seen.
Oh my god.
He genuinely
Wow.
is like this for almost the entire segment. He is so terribly bad at hitting enemies, and there really is no reason for it other than coding him to be bad at hitting enemies.
lame.
He just sucks. It's also really infuriating because at this point in the game, they added 2 new enemy types, the heavy and light variants of the normal lumberjack asshole. And can I
Oh,
just
good.
say, the combat in this game, I've said it before, but it is so annoying at times. The new little enemies do what you would assume they would do. They're fast and attack you faster, but they take less time to light up and fewer bullets to kill. The big heavy boys are obviously the opposite in both of these ways. But you see, they both prove to be a substantial threat. The heavies have a ton of damage in their swings and aren't
oof.
particularly slow either, especially when they have a charge move that is undodgeable, so you have to run out of the way. And Alan has
Well,
a
that's
sprint meter
dodgeable.
length equal to a geriatric man, so running isn't really an option against any of these enemies because they
no.
all move a bit quicker than they should.
And then when
but
you have
during
somebody who can't fight them.
this entire
Give
situation,
me your gun.
the
We'll
normal
switch.
guys just throw axes at you all
Oh,
the time.
great.
They just keep throwing these homing axes. They just seek your face. It's so infuriating.
How do they keep
I
getting
hate it.
them?
And I have to deal with all of this stuff without a gun and a kidnapper partner with no eyes or brain. So naturally, Alan Wake doesn't handle the next interaction well at all.
What the hell are you talking about? Where's Alice?
I want the entire manuscript.
No,
or
it's
she's
you.
gonna suffer bad.
You touch her and
Ow!
You touch her and you'll what, Alan? Punch him? You'll do what? What was the plan there? Well, good job, idiot, because now it's back to dealing with dudes throwing axes. Whoa!
Hey.
Axe upon ye! Actually, no. It's not really whoa, axe upon ye. It's whoa, crow upon ye.
That's kind of unfortunate. It's like the guy that the kidnapper he was there the whole time. And we know who he is already. I think it would be way funner if we didn't know who the kidnapper was.
Yeah, birds have become an enemy now. Just giant flocks of darkness crows that you burn away into ash with a flashlight.
I love a darkness crow.
Typical Pacific Northwest things. At least you get to save Barry, though, mostly.
Nice cop.
We get a cutscene now showing the old diner lady that was the big fan acting all weird and strange and inviting you over because they have a lead on the manuscript. And then that's the end of episode 2. It's a pretty meandering episode overall. The gameplay is very rough and it contains a lot of it, but I think my issues with it is that the kidnapping plot is just so obviously wrong to the player. You never once believe it's the case because this is a weird spooky darkness shenanigans game and there's
it's like a dream or something.
No way this guy actually did it. So you just kind of deal with this crap combat section and this strange military-like figure for all of what you assume to be just a red herring. All the while, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, Axeman keeps hitting you in the head. Oh my God. I much like Alan, I got writer's block. I filmed like part of it and now I'm back and
welcome back.
Pink. Episode 3. Episode 3 starts with you and Barry making your way to the trailer park that the diner hostess lives in.
All right. See, that's what I was like, okay, so we're gonna... Okay, good. They're doing something, but it's something different, but it's also obvious they're doing something different. Just to make things complicated. I love it. Who's Randolph? Anyway, I don't know.
One of those parts where you walk slowly and talk with one of the locals, but he has a limp, so it takes an astronomically long time for you to actually get to the trailer. All the while, Barry is telling you all kinds of stuff and is constantly annoyed when the other guy butts him. This entire walking scene is Barry just kind of giving you exposition. It's your classic, call an expert on the ghost and they will explain it to you for 10 minutes in your shitty C- horror movie, except this is more on what happened in Cauldron Lake. Basically, the whole area is covered in this crazy typical stuff you get in a small town horror flick. Disappearances, mysterious deaths, so on, and all centered around Cauldron Lake. That cabin...
I love that his cardboard cutout is holding just one of his books. Like, it just kind of strikes me as funny.
On the lake in which Alan experienced wife gone regret was owned by Thomas Zane, who was a famous writer, mostly poet, that apparently has no works on file. And as he was big into diving, he went down with the island during the volcanic eruption. Barbara Jagger, however, his lover, drowned a week earlier and is now an urban legend haunting the various
but she's the one who gave him the key.
All of this written by a Cynthia Weaver, who you know them from way back when. She was actually the weird lady at the diner that urged you not to go into the dark before the creepy lady gave you the keys.
Okay, so somehow Cynthia wrote a book about urban legends, knows that they're actually probably true. She's like, hey, don't go in there. You didn't recognize her. You went into the dark, and then a ghost gave you a key to island. Cool.
Barry's a huge exposition dump, which is great because it's from Barry, my beloved. I won't lie though, it's pretty easy to have all this glaze over you during this scene because it's so boring just walking along with this guy. Unfortunately, this exposition dump is pretty integral to the entire plot of the video game, so it's something you gotta remember. But luckily for you, I'm here and you're watching my video, so I'll give you a hand. So
I've definitely like wikied plots before because I was like, wait a minute. I don't remember any of this. I was not paying attention because I was bored and just complaining the whole time about how slow I have to walk. And so, what happened in this thing? I've done that more than once.
Get to the diner lady's cabin and she's acting super damn weird and hollow, but she decides
Why is she dressed in her diner? I mean, like, sure, she's maybe on her way to work or something, but like, she's even got like a diner style coffee pour. What the hell? There's a triangle behind her. It's the Illuminati.
It's just coffee.
This tastes different. Did you put anything different in it?
I put a bit of wine.
During your drugged sleep, God tells you that the darkness is taking the form of his Barbara and wearing her face, and the old lady creeps on you.
Who's Barbara? I'd come visit you and your lovely wife.
Who's Barbara again?
You must finish what you started. I insist.
That's what you said before.
You must turn the lights on. Turn the light on.
What the fuck?
Back to work, boy.
I've definitely done that. Oh, God. Okay. Girl.
Can I just say that waking up in this room covered in Alan Wake posters after being drugged makes me feel like Alan should be double checking many of his faculties. Like, this is a fucking nightmare for basically anyone with an ounce of notoriety. And he just brushes it off a little too quickly. Of course, Barry is out cold, so you need to get him out of here. And you can't drag him because he's Barry. So you leave him to go get help, and you meet
Where was the girl? Like, was she was just kind of sitting there, like, not okay. So, like, something's going. All these people are getting, like, possessed or something.
Agent Nightingale. Nightingale, whatever.
This is Agent Nightingale, FBI. Get him up, Hemingway. You're under arrest.
Why?
You move a muscle, I'll unload right in your goddamn face.
Okay, American police officer for sure. Oh no! Poor Randolph.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about the FBI agent. I fucking love Agent Nightingale so much. He's the best ironic Giga Chad meme character I can think of. He immediately arrives, draws a gun on you, calls you by 2 separate authors' names to berate you, and the moment you move, fires upon you without a moment's hesitation with a civilian in front of you.
American police officer.
You goddamn maniac.
What an absolute Chad. So this entire next section is you running away from the cops. All the while, Giga Chad Nightingale continues to refer to you
by
multiple other authors' names.
You? He's like, I've read things. So smart.
You hear me, H.P. Lovecraft?
They even brought a helicopter to deal with you, but as it would appear, the dark malevolent force does not want Alan Wake dead. They need him to finish what he started. So I present to you the perfect clip for this situation.
Okay.
I think my scary, otherworldly, shadowy spirit friends might have something to say about that.
Okay, that was a pretty good use of that clip. Amazing. Fuck off, cops.
From here on out, you get a few new combat encounters as well. For the most part, you don't really do a lot of run and gun.
That's kind of cool though with the light. Because like I feel like they did something like that with then Five Nights at Freddy's Ruin. Like I feel like there's some things you can do with the flashlight and that are kind of cool. Similar vibe.
Instead, utilize a brand new tool for your fighting, which is a flashbang grenade. This, much like the flare gun, is absolutely insanely powerful.
I love it.
Obviously, but it acts like a fragmentation grenade would in another video game. It just doesn't.
I love a grenade. When my friend and I are playing Resident Evil 5, like I had all of the grenades. All the grenades were mine. And I used them to great effect.
Burn away the light. It kills them straight up like the flare gun does. Honestly, it's a last resort kind of weapon, but some flashbang grenades can basically take care of entire combat encounters.
Nice.
Now, you arrive to the radio station in Bright Falls and see good old Pat Maine, who you met on the boat ride over. Throughout the game, you can actually listen to Pat Maine's broadcast on the radio. He's a really sultry, nice man who reminds me of Mr. New Vegas on the radio in Fallout. He actually comments on the story, has guests on, everything you'd like to see in this cute small town radio station. But unfortunately, Giga Chad Nightingale arrives to see you as well, and you're thinking, surely this has to go better than last time.
Dang! What the hell's the matter with you? There's a civilian in there.
They're both civilians.
Getting away with it. The author name insults, the fire gets civilians. He can't keep getting away with it. Now, the combat from here on out actually picks up a little bit in an enjoyable fashion. I hadn't mentioned it before, but you do get a few new items to play around with. Back during the kidnapping part, you actually got flares that were more handheld instead of the flare gun specifically. This is one of the coolest things you can do in the game. Popping a flare in your hand and holding it up, watching all the enemies recoil away from you is just, it's cinematic as fuck, especially considering these flares aren't really for actually stripping the enemies of their darkness. They're
it just
more
freaks
of a,
them out.
oh god, oh fuck type of situation.
Oh,
it's
to
a
get
panic
away
button,
for you.
But it's a really cool one. They also give you a shotgun, which, you know, it's pretty fun. Does what a shotgun does. A shotgun does do some pretty awesome things. We haven't reached this point in the game yet, but it also can be swapped out for a pump action shotgun or a hunting rifle. Both of these also being very fantastic weapons to use against the Taken. Unfortunately, this is where the weapons stop. I don't know if they did this in the original game, but in the remastered version with all of those terrible artifacting bugs, they have a similar D-pad wheel like The Last of Us does, basically. Two-handed gun up top, revolver on right, flare gun on left, and flares, flashbangs on the bottom. So swapping between them is very easily and generally intuitive. But the only thing that you get after this is a higher powered flashlight, like the thick lantern flashlight.
Okay, this would be the perfect game to have a flamethrower. But that's just because I love flamethrowers. You can put a flamethrower in any game and I'll be happy.
These are the last bit of the gameplay systems. There are no upgrades, there are no other variants. It's basically just this, and that's where the combat system begins to fail. They do try to spice it up a little bit by adding environmental options, big floodlights that'll burn out the Taken, and they even have their 2010s turret section utilizing a gigantic spotlight, which is hilarious and kind of creative. I can't really be mad. But 30% of the
fact that like you can make the lights, you make the fences and stuff disappear just really hammers home for me that none of this is happening.
Through the game, the gameplay has stopped advancing. And that is one of the biggest attractors because now this is all you will be doing for the rest of the title. And you will be doing it a lot. You will even be doing it in a car. That's right. After you escape from Giga Chad Nightingale, you start learning to drive. And let me tell you, driving in Alan Wake, it's bullshit. This car handles like a Halo Reach Warthog on a Mario Ice map. I mean, this isn't.
Dang, and I'm bad at driving in anything.
But it is awful. This will
any game ever that there's cars involved, I'm so bullshit at driving them. So bullshit. Like, so if it's already hard to do, all right. Do I have to?
Also take the next hour of gameplay. It's driving a car to various spots and then finding a huge amount of Taken before we go back to the kidnapping plot because you know we just love red herrings. So you're trying to get Alice back from the evil kidnapper guy and you spend an unfathomably long time killing enemy after enemy.
Oh yeah, I forgot we had a wife. Like, I forgot we had a wife, and I've been watching this for, like, almost half an hour.
To get to the guy, and the darkness is making him cry like a little bitch, and next thing you know, oh no, his bones are going snap, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
Bye. Oh, that was an awful noise.
So Alan falls a genuinely really long distance all the way
that's
into the water.
guy.
He should have a broken back, but
he should be dead.
Video game, whatever. We're also fighting primordial darkness entities, so who gives a shit? But that is the end of episode 3. The kidnapping plot actually ends that quickly. Alan has a few visions while under the water, and here we are. Episode 4.
Did we find the wife?
Starts off as one of the more annoying episodes. This is simultaneously the best and worst episode in the game.
Okay. That's, I think, a good place to stop. We're about to watch the best and the worst episode in the game. It's been almost 40 minutes at this point, so it's okay. I think this is a good place to end. We're about to start episode 4. We're about halfway through, probably. I think that's good. This game seems wild to me. I'm still waiting for it to be like the best thing I've ever played. It seems like he likes a lot of the characters. It seems like the characters are fun for him, which is interesting. I mean, important. It's very important to have good characters in your video game. So that's valid. That's very valid. I am curious to see where this goes though. Like the kidnapping plot that I fully forgot about. Again, I'm still like, I don't think any of this is real. I think he was in a car accident and he's having like hallucinations, you know? There's some kind of, or like he's in a ghost coma. Maybe he died 50 years ago also, you know? I think as I'm watching this, I would be able to, like, if I was playing the game, there's probably a lot more Stephen King references than just the couple that has been mentioned. Like, it's obviously a Misery sort of plot. Like, I'm gonna make sure you write the book or whatever. Okay. Interesting. So thank you for watching. I hope you stick around to finish up with me next time. Ouch. And yeah, I'm gonna go and see a little bit more about Alan Wake in the next one. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.